I've always been just free ranging from the time I was knee high to a grasshopper. Well, I'm Robert Irwin. I'm a very passionate wildlife conservationist from here in Australia. My family and I own and operate Australia Zoo and a charity called Wildlife Warriors, and we support conservation initiatives across the world. I'm also a very passionate wildlife photographer.
G'day and welcome to Australia Zoo.
I've heard that you grew up in Australia Zoo, so can you tell us a bit about what that means? Like, did you literally grow up alongside monkeys and tigers?
Yeah, it's true. Exactly. Yes. Yeah, pretty much exactly that. I think it's probably every kid's dream growing up in a zoo, especially somewhere like this. I've always been just free ranging from the time I was knee high to a grasshopper. You know, I've always lived such an exciting life. Waking up to the sound of tigers roaring right in your backyard, it never gets old.
Oh, look at our gorgeous little tiger cubs. Aren't they just awesome?
So, we're hoping to play a little game with you. I'm going to read you a clue, and you have to try and figure out which iconic Canadian animal the clue is referring to.
Oh, mate, see, it's one of the few places my Canada wildlife knowledge. Let's see if it's up to scratch. We'll see how I go.
Okay. First clue, this large white mammal has become the poster child for climate change because of its dependence on Arctic sea ice.
Yes, well, that would have to be the polar bear, I would think.
Got it. You got it.
Great. Good. Okay, that's the first one done.
Okay, so clue 2. This rodent is something of an architect and is featured on the Canadian 5-cent coin.
Ooh. Okay, I've got a pretty good feeling. This is one of my dad's favorites. He spent a lot of time filming these guys. Would it be a beaver? Am I correct? Yeah, did I get that? Okay, great.
Full marks so far. All right, third clue. This feisty bird has a serrated tongue and is known for its loud call, but do not get too close because it will hiss at you.
Oh, okay, I have encountered one of these before, and I'm pretty sure I've got this. Is it a Canada goose?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. They have got some attitude. Mate, I once tried to photograph a Canada goose once, like at really close range, and he was really nice. He let me get right up to him, and I don't know why, something changed, and he just went, nah, attack, and it just went full on. I love it. They're hilarious. They're like little dinosaurs.
Okay, you obviously know your animals, so we're gonna give you a slightly tougher one. This cute, fuzzy rodent is specific to my part of the world, British Columbia, and exclusively enjoys island life. However, they are sadly endangered.
Ooh, I'm trying to think. Okay, see, I don't know this one. I'm trying to think of those clues, connect the dots. I think, yeah, I'm gonna have to have you fill me in on this one.
Okay, it's the Vancouver Island marmot. So
marmot.
They're super cute. They have this little white patch on their chest. They're only found on Vancouver Island and only in these really specific subalpine meadows. And so they're very vulnerable to habitat loss due to logging, etc.
Whoa. Wow, that's very cool. Oh, well, I feel like I've learned something today as well. So thank you very much for that.
My pleasure. As someone who also loves wildlife photography, I know that for every great shot, there are hundreds that just don't work out. So can you tell us about a time when you missed or messed up what could have been a great photo?
Where do I begin? Where do I start? There's so many photos like that. Okay, I'll tell you, this was a very sad one. This was one that haunts me to this day. I'd been tracking down this pair of these birds, these palm cockatoos. This is an animal that people, I mean, they spend their entire life trying to get photos of these things, right? I set up my camera, I waited, I watched them as they flew in to a nesting pair. They come back out again. They're sitting on either side of this hollow with nesting material, like in their beaks, looking at each other. The light is perfect. I'm thinking this is probably gonna be the greatest shot I ever get in my life. I go to take the photo and I don't have an SD card in my camera. I did manage the next day to get in there and actually get a similar photo. It wasn't the photo, but it's okay. Is everything right there? Yep. I've got aperture at f2.8. Yep. All right, we're happy. Now we can shoot.
On the flip side, is there a photo that you're particularly proud of because it was so hard to capture?
The first one that pops into my head, just because of the environmental story that goes behind it. We were up on one of our conservation properties, and this was right around the time we were having the bushfire crisis, you know, in Australia. I actually saw smoke on the horizon. I hiked in there with my drone and flew right into the fire line, and I'm watching the flames as they're coming up. And I got my drone and put it like right into the smoke, right into the fire. I lost connection. I was flying completely blind, just hoping. And I could luckily see where it was and got a couple of photos before it just got swallowed up. And one of those photos was a really stark image where you've got just burnt bushland on one side, the fire line, and beautiful green on the other. And it was a photo that just really stuck out in my mind and really, I would hope, makes people think about our effect on the world. And I was also happy that my drone didn't melt, so.
Okay, so you announced a very special project. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I've actually, for the first time, hang on. There we go, let's get that right there. For the first time, I've actually released my very first photography book, Robert Irwin's Australia. It's kind of a culmination of many, many years of photography since I was about 6 years old when I first started. And it's about really demonstrating what we're all fighting to protect. You know, it's showcasing Australia's natural beauty. I also show some pretty impactful images of the human effect on the natural world as well. And it also kind of showcases the connection that the photography has to my dad. You know, he was the original wildlife warrior, and he was also a very, very good photographer. So I feel very privileged I get to keep his work going, and this book is a real passion project.
Finally, is there anything else you'd like to tell our kid audience before we let you go?
Yeah, definitely to all the kids out there watching who have a passion for wildlife conservation, just keep it up. And photography, you know, as we know, is such a great way for the next generation to connect with the natural world. So it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you about it.